Okay, so you want to make music with code, right?
Yeah,
You've come to the right place because we're going to unlock the secrets of
absolutely.
turning code into music
Catchy tunes.
using this PDF we've got excerpts from called Kapow Computing Wi-Fi Programming Music with Scratch.pdf.
It's a great resource to get started with.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about this one
Me too. This is a fun one.
because I love music, and the idea of like making it with code
Yeah.
is just fascinating to me.
Yeah, and you know what's really cool about Scratch is that it takes all the complexity of programming and it makes it visual
Okay.
and intuitive, almost like building with Legos.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's like musical Legos.
Musical Legos.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, so you can snap together these different code blocks and really see how different actions fit together to create music.
Okay, so let's dive into that a little bit because the PDF mentions these things called sprites.
Right.
And it sounds like they're kind of like the stars of our show.
Yeah, exactly. Sprites are like the characters or the objects that perform on the stage,
Okay.
which is your creative space in Scratch, so you can think of them as your virtual band members,
Okay.
each with their own unique sounds and moves.
So it's like setting up a virtual band.
Exactly. And you can give each of them their own instruments and their own parts to play.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got our band on stage, ready to rock.
All right, let's go.
How do we actually tell them what to do?
That's where the code blocks come in.
Okay.
The code blocks are the instructions that make your sprites come alive. And as I mentioned, they're color-coded and snap together like puzzle pieces.
Oh, I see.
And so you've got blocks for movement, for looks, for sounds.
Okay.
It's really like a visual language for composing music.
Yes, it's like, giving each band member their own sheet music.
Exactly.
But instead of notes, it's these colorful blocks.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. The document also talks about loops.
Loops.
And I've got to admit,
Yeah.
this is where my brain starts to get a little fuzzy. So help me out here.
Don't worry, loops are actually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
They're simply a way to repeat a section of code.
Okay.
And so in music, that means creating repeating patterns and rhythms.
Oh, okay.
So think about a drum beat that's a loop. It's what gives your music that driving force.
Right. It's like instead of having to program each beat individually,
Exactly.
you can just loop a section of code
Yeah.
and let it play over and over.
Saves a ton of time.
That saves a ton of time and effort.
Yeah.
I'm already liking this.
Yeah.
Okay. But then there's this other thing, live loops.
Live loops. Oh, yeah.
Is that just a fancy name for the same thing?
Not quite.
Okay.
Live loops take things to a whole new level. Imagine a DJ mixing live,
Okay.
seamlessly blending these different musical ideas together.
Okay.
That's the power of live loops.
I see.
You can trigger and manipulate loops in real time and create this really dynamic, ever-evolving soundscape.
So you can kind of experiment and jam out right there in the code.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And this is reminding me of like adjusting things like tempo and pitch,
Right.
which I know are huge in music.
Absolutely fundamental.
So is that where variables come into play?
Your spot-on variables are like the control knobs on your musical instrument.
Okay.
They let you adjust things like tempo, which is the speed of your music, and pitch,
Right.
which determines how high or low the notes are.
Okay.
So let's say you want a drum beat to gradually speed up as the song progresses. You can use a variable to increase the tempo value over time and create that build-up and excitement.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it's not just about setting a fixed tempo and pitch.
Right.
It's about making them evolve and change as the song goes on.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of control over the feel and the energy of your music.
Okay, on to another term from the PDF, my blocks.
My blocks.
It sounds like we're getting into some serious customization here.
Absolutely. My blocks let you create your own custom code blocks.
Okay,
So think of them as like personalized musical building blocks.
got it.
So let's say you've created this complex drum pattern or a unique sound effect.
Oh,
You can save that entire sequence as a My Block
okay.
and reuse it whenever you want.
That's convenient.
Yeah, it's like building your own library of musical phrases that are ready to be dropped into any project.
So instead of having to recreate that complex pattern from scratch every time,
Yeah.
you could just pull out your custom My Blog and bam, instant awesome. Well, I love it.
Yeah, it's a great way to save time and stay organized.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know that even experienced programmers run into issues sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
The PDF mentions these things called bugs.
Bugs.
And I'm guessing they're not the kind that crawl around in the garden.
No, definitely not those kinds of bugs.
Okay.
Bugs in programming are those pesky errors that can sneak into your code
Okay.
and cause things to go a little haywire.
Yeah.
But here's the good news. Finding and fixing those bugs, which we call debugging,
Right.
is actually a key part of the programming process. It's like solving a musical puzzle,
Well, I like that.
figuring out where the notes went astray and getting them back in harmony.
So it's not about being a perfect programmer.
Right.
It's about being a persistent one.
Exactly. You got to stick with it.
And when you finally squash that bug, it's like this triumphant moment, right?
It feels good.
Like, yeah, a big sense of accomplishment.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about, code and blocks and bugs.
Right.
But what about the fundamentals of music, like rhythm and pitch?
Oh, that's a great point.
How does that all fit into this?
So Scratch might seem very technical,
Yeah.
but at its core, it's still all about music.
Okay.
And the PDF highlights rhythm, which is the pattern of long and short notes.
Right.
And pitch, which is how high or low a note sounds.
Right.
Those are the building blocks of any musical piece.
Yeah.
And Scratch lets you manipulate them with incredible precision.
So imagine creating these complex rhythms that would be almost impossible to play on a traditional instrument, or shifting the pitch of a melody in ways you never thought possible.
It's like opening up a whole new world of musical possibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so last thing.
Okay.
Can you walk us through the actual Scratch interface? What does it look like?
Sure. So you're basically picturing a digital music studio.
Okay.
You've got the block palette where you choose your code blocks.
Okay.
You've got the scripts area where you assemble them into a program. And then you've got the stage where you see and hear your creation come to life.
So it's very visual.
Very visual.
All very interactive.
Designed to make coding feel more like play.
Like a playground for musical ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think even if someone listening isn't planning to become like a professional musician or a composer,
Yeah.
learning even a little bit of Scratch could be so valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's not just about the music, it's about problem solving.
Yeah.
It's about creative thinking.
It's a different way of thinking.
Yeah. It's about seeing how different elements can work together
Yeah.
to create something amazing and really anything.
And expressing yourself in a new way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, so to wrap things up,
Right.
I have a challenge for you listening.
Okay.
Try composing a simple melody
Okay.
or even just a cool sound effect
All right.
using Scratch.
I love it.
There's a huge online community full of inspiration.
Tons of examples and projects to learn from.
And you might just surprise yourself with what you can create.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, and that's what makes Scratch so much fun.
It is.
It's all about experimentation, creativity, and the joy of making music one block at a time.
Absolutely.
So go out there and start experimenting and have fun.
Have fun.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right, until next time, happy coding
Happy coding.
and keep making awesome music.
Keep making music.